Okay, picture this. The year is 2025. A few diplomatic stumbles suddenly explode into a full-blown economic crisis. Out of nowhere, the United States, India's biggest trading partner, slams it with these massive, crippling tariffs. The question isn't if it's going to hurt, it's how bad is it going to get. Can India's economy actually handle a shock like this? Or are its global ambitions about to hit a brick wall? So let's break down what's really going on here.
Welcome to the Untold Facts channel. If you're into explainers that dive deep into complex stories just like this one, we'd really appreciate it if you'd like, share, and subscribe for more. All right, now let's get back to that economic storm brewing.
It all kicks off with this one number, 50%. That is the staggering total tariff the US slaps on all Indian goods. I mean, this is a move designed to just crush trade. But how on earth did things get this bad, this fast?
So this whole 50% tariff, you gotta understand, it didn't just come out of nowhere. It's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet. This thing was a full-blown firestorm. And the spark? A diplomatic relationship that got really, really cold.
Now, what's just wild about this whole thing is the speed. Check this out. In June of 2025, Prime Minister Modi turns down a dinner invite from the US president. By August 1st, bam, the US hits back with an initial 25% reciprocal tariff. And then, just a few weeks later, they doubled down. Another 25% gets tacked on, this time aimed squarely at India's choice to keep buying Russian oil. In less than 3 months, we go from a dinner snub to an all-out economic war. It's incredible.
So to get what the US was thinking, at least what they were saying publicly, you need to know this term, a reciprocal tariff. Think of it like a tit-for-tat move in a trade fight. The US basically said that first 25% was a response to what it called India's own unfair practices. It was framed as a way to balance the scales, but really, it was just the opening shot.
All right, so with the massive 50% tariff officially on the books, the damage wasn't just some far-off possibility. No, this was a direct hit to the heart of India's export economy. And, some industries were right in the crosshairs.
First up, let's talk about auto parts. This is a massive industry for India. And guess who their #1 customer is? Yep, the United States. We're talking 27% of all their exports. You slap a 50% tariff on that, and overnight, Indian parts are just way too expensive. This puts billions of dollars on the line, and you've got thousands of smaller businesses just scrambling to survive.
And the story is just as scary for another huge labor-heavy sector, apparel. We're talking clothes, textiles, a full 1/3 of everything India sells in this category goes straight to the US. This isn't just about balance sheets, This industry employs millions of people. A hit like this could trigger a massive social crisis, with job losses on a scale that's hard to imagine.
And the hits just keep on coming. Then you've got gems and jewelry. India is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to cutting and polishing diamonds. And again, who's the main customer? The US, buying 36% of their exports directly. But honestly, that number is probably way bigger because a lot of the diamonds they send to hubs like Hong Kong, they end up in American jewelry stores anyway. A tariff like this could grind a multi-billion-dollar industry to a halt.
And look, don't just take my word for it. Here's a pretty stark warning from Moody's. They're basically saying this isn't just about losing the business we have now. This tariff threatens the entire future of India's manufacturing dream. All that progress they've made, it could all just go up in smoke. It's a direct shot at their long-term growth plans.
But just when things look their absolute darkest, a massive global trend offers this totally unexpected lifeline. See, for a while now, big companies have been getting nervous about having all their eggs in one basket. That basket being China. And this whole crisis, it might just be the push they needed to finally look somewhere else. So, that gets you thinking, right? Could this absolute shock to the system, as painful as it is, actually open up a new door? Is this all bad news for Indian manufacturing, or is there a silver lining here?
And the answer? Well, it comes in the form of a very big number. $1.5 billion. That's the fresh new investment that Foxconn, Apple's main manufacturer, pumps into India. Right in the middle of all this chaos. That is a huge vote of confidence. It's a sign that there are much bigger gears turning in the background. And the strategy behind that move is something called China Plus One. It's pretty simple, really. For years, giants like Apple have been trying to de-risk their operations. They just don't want to be 100% dependent on China. So, kind of ironically, this trade war with the US suddenly makes India look way more attractive as that plus one location.
Okay, so you're India. You're facing this huge threat on one hand, but this massive opportunity on the other. What do? Well, you don't just sit there.
the government unleashes this multi-part strategic response, and the goal isn't just to survive, it's to use this crisis as a springboard for real, lasting change.
And what they rolled out was this entire policy toolkit. They went all in on the Make in India campaign to get more stuff built at home. They used these things called production-linked incentive schemes, PLI for short, which basically give cash incentives to companies who set up shop in India. They launched a new foreign trade policy, started re-examining their free trade agreements, or FTAs, and even jacked up some import taxes to protect local industries. It was a full-court press to become more self-reliant.
But it wasn't all just about economics. This was a geopolitical statement too. India doubled down on its long-standing policy of strategic autonomy. What does that mean? It means they refused to be backed into a corner by anyone. Even with all this pressure from the US, they kept talking to everybody. Russia, China, you name it. It was a clear signal to the world. India makes its own decisions, based on its own interests.
So, after the shock, the response, and that unexpected opportunity, what's the final verdict? When all the dust settles, where does India really stand?
And this right here really lays it all out. The challenges are no joke. A huge chunk of their US exports are at risk, small businesses are getting hammered, and the relationship with a key ally is seriously damaged. But then look at the other side. The opportunities are massive. A real chance to become a key player in new global supply chains, a huge boost for Make in India, and the perfect excuse to find new trading partners. It's a classic case of risk versus reward.
And here's what it looks like in cold, hard numbers. According to the rating agency ICRA, yeah, there's a real hit. They had to revise their GDP growth forecast for fiscal year 2026 down from 6.5% to 6.2%. So there's a real slowdown. You can't deny it. But, and this is the key part, it's not a collapse. The economy takes a punch, but it stays on its feet. So that leaves us with this final big question. This trade war was, without a doubt, a massive test. A test of India's economy, its policies, its diplomacy. But what kind of test was it? Was it the crippling blow that finally stops their rise? Or was it the painful shock the system needed all along to finally forge itself into the global powerhouse it wants to be? The answer to that is still being written.